Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's me, and today I want to give you a definitive guide, at least thus far, on the Danger Room. Now, I know you guys really dislike the rewards in a lot of cases, and you feel like it's 2 steps forward, 3 steps back with some of the gameplay in terms of wins and losses and the numbers that you get, but it's always good to develop a strategy for this game mode and to know the ins and outs of it, to know the rule sets of it, and I've tried to figure out as much of that information as possible for you so that anytime in the future when they make this game mode more worthwhile for you, or you better get a more solid internet connection and you can play, you can jump back in, watch this video, grab your tips, and then go out there and smash out some wins. But I have to plug my Discord for just a moment, because the #1 tip, the absolute best tip that I have for you, the future fighters of the world, is seriously get into an alliance or get friends on your friends list. I know, friends on your friends list who are good at the game, good enough, as good as you, maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit worse, but as long as they're around your level of gameplay and you're not, a total drooling idiot, you will have a much better time in the Danger Room. It's so much fun to group up with a couple of friends, or even one friend and a random, and actually pull off some wins, and you know what, some losses. It's not that bad. It's not that big of a deal to lose now and then. It's humbling. It makes you work harder. It gives you something to improve on, and it's overall just fun. And I still have a lot of fun with this game mode, jumping in with randoms and playing with my alliance mates, which is more of a sort of technical thing. So let's get into, first of all, the mechanics of the fight. This week we're fighting against Strife, and if I had to rank the 3 bosses, because I've now played against all 3 of them and I wanted to wait until now to give you guys my opinions, I think that Strife is probably the easiest boss, possibly the second easiest boss. It kind of fluctuates, but by far the hardest boss, and the one you're probably going to need to practice the most against, is Jean Grey. She has multiple mechanics that will just auto-kill you, and it was pretty routine for at least one member of your team to die per run. It was very, very hard for all 3 people to never die and actually kill Jean Grey. Magneto is quite easy, although he has some annoying iframes and some annoying moves that just take a really long time and interrupt you, and especially he exposed Sharon Rogers and her tier 3 skill because it doesn't have iframe ignore, and so you can actually miss with Sharon Rogers' tier 3 skill against Magneto and lose all your damage. Strife sort of seems like an in-between of Magneto and Jean Grey. He does a little bit more damage than Magneto, so you have a little bit more risk of dying. He doesn't seem to have one-shot mechanics, but he has a lot of mechanics where he kind of disappears into iframes, but he doesn't seem to interrupt you as much. But he has additional stage mechanics where he summons a bunch of portals around the fight and around the edge of the arena, as you'll see when I jump in, and he does some pretty cool stuff that you have to respect and you have to follow. Now, as far as the characters go, I think this is the absolute most important tip that I have for you, you future fighters. The first character, the first player on the choose screen is very, very important, and I actually want to explain this to you before I show it to you because it's vital. The very first player should always choose a character that has a strong leadership, because that character's leadership will apply to the whole team. It's very important. I'll repeat it one more time. Let's say I'm the first person to choose out of these 6 characters on my team. It's me, it's Scooby-Doo, and it's Shaggy. If I choose Mr. Fantastic, that's a great leadership for me. I'm giving myself and my own characters 65% bonus all attack. But it doesn't matter who my teammates choose, because there's no other members of the Fantastic Four here. They're not going to get any leadership. On the other hand, if I am the first person to choose and I choose Iron Man, well, I've given myself and my teammates a 24% skill cooldown buff. And so that means that Captain Marvel and Iron Man have by far the best leaderships out of this week's pool. Out of every week's pool, Ant-Man, Luna Snow, Black Panther, Wolverine, they always have terrible leaderships because their leaderships are garbage. It's like all speed, or a little bit of crit rate, or debuff, or some garbage about, chance to be fire immune, cold resist, or whatever that garbage is for Luna Snow's leadership. You get to listen to Luna Snow's song, which is not bad, but keep that in mind. That's very, very important. It's not all 3 leaderships that stack. It's only the very first one. So likewise, last week, a lot of people were picking Cyclops first. A lot of people were picking Doctor Strange first. That is a very good strategy, because both of those characters provide very strong buffs for the entire team. Namor would have a bad leadership. Ant-Man would have a bad leadership. and so on and so forth. That is by far the best strategy that I can give you, is to actually make sure the first person on your team, if it's not you, chooses for this week specifically Iron Man, because I went ahead and I calculated the differences, and it seems like there is a flat about 30%, maybe 31% skill cooldown bonus. So you won't actually be able to hit the cap, 50% cap on skill cooldown, unless you choose Iron Man. So there's about, you'll notice about a 2 or 3 second difference in the cooldown of your skills when you choose Iron Man versus choosing anyone else. And that's a big deal, because that'll allow you to rotate through your skills faster. That will allow you to get through your rotation faster. So we're gonna jump into a match right now. We spend 10 energy to find a team and look for one, and hopefully we don't get disconnected, and hopefully we can jump into a match. While we're doing this, I'll also discuss a couple of the mechanics that are more well known to the community right now, but they're not necessarily known to everyone. So as far as the character builds goes, the Iron Man, the Captain Marvel, those 6 characters, these are not my character build. So hopefully Winter Soldier will choose Iron Man. It doesn't seem like he's going to, so this is bad for us, because now only Mr. Fantastic is going to take advantage of Mr. Fantastic's buff. But in the case of all of these characters, they are using the #1 rank build for the stats and for the obelisk or CTP for the ISO 8 set and so on and so forth. This is a pretty good team thus far. I'm actually going to go ahead and choose Iron Man for damage. Captain Marvel's also a good choice because of the healing. I'm actually tempted to choose Captain Marvel. You know what? Let's choose Captain Marvel. We're going to show off a little bit of different strategy here. But this is basically, this is a good team right now. It's unfortunate that we couldn't use either my leadership or Iron Man's leadership. They have a Wolverine, so they're probably going to suffer as well a little bit here. But I'm going to be primarily focused on doing the objectives in this fight. I'm not going to be focusing on Strife. That's going to be down to Mr. Fantastic and Luna Snow. I'm going to be focusing on collecting as many energy capsules as I can to charge up my heal, which will delay the enemy's boss HP, which is, you know, a way of prolonging the battle and giving your team more time to win. And additionally, I will be doing the objectives, and you'll see the objectives because they're sort of like orbs that summon here, these right here, and you have to actually attack them and destroy them. It says destroy the summoned chaotic gate in the exterior. If you don't destroy them, what basically happens is that you lose targeting on Strife. And so you have to destroy them all eventually, so it's just a matter of time. So if I do that, if I destroy them for my team, then that will give them more time. I don't know why Luna Snow is collecting orbs, but that will give them more time to do other things. That'll give them more time to focus on DPS, to focus on other aspects of the fight. But it seems like well, one of them's dead right now, which is not a good sign. He's back now. But we're doing pretty well. The enemy team is suffering. They're trying to do some effects here with the lasers, but it's not working too well. As far as the actual abilities go, Time Freeze is very good. The heal is pretty good as well, and the missiles is also very good. So even though Luna Snow is basically a damage-dealing character, she also has a very good ability with the missiles. So you will want to take advantage of the missiles if you see it on a different character, not necessarily Luna Snow, because she does so much damage on her own, and I don't know what she's doing right now. It seems like we have some connectivity issues because people keep standing around and just like doing nothing, which is kind of just a bummer. Kind of just have to take it for what it is. I'll do my best to win despite the incapacitation of my teammates. But yeah, this is basically what the fight boils down to, and I'm doing my best to take advantage of my character's strengths and weaknesses, and I think that's something that you need to identify. Am I playing a character that deals damage, or am I playing a character that's providing more of a support role? So in the case of someone that has, like Ant-Man, he doesn't do much damage, but he has the missiles, and the missiles do a lot of damage. That way I can still deal damage to the boss without worrying about my overall contribution to the team. On the other hand, someone like Captain Marvel, I can sort of do damage at the same time, although for some reason I keep getting interrupted. I can do damage, but I should also try to use my ability for what it's worth for the team. It's not working out too well right now because my team is having a really hard time doing damage on their own. But on the plus side, we are still in the fight, so we still have a chance of winning. We haven't lost just yet, although these lasers are super pesky. Hopefully we will be able to get a win here. I just need one more. I don't know if I should go for the heal. Oh, someone just disconnected. Everybody disconnected. I still got one more person on my team, I think. But I think it's better if I go for the win than going for... And we just lost by a hair. So that was pretty disappointing. My team, I think, played horribly. The Mr. Fantastic actually played well. He had about 40 million DPS, but I think that Luna Snow just had no idea how to play Luna Snow, which is pretty disappointing because she's a pretty popular character. So that person probably needs to know what the fuck. They need to learn how the fuck to play because they don't know how to play. You can trash talk a little bit. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's the basis of the fight. But now I want to try to jump into one more match and show you guys, if I can get into the leadership slot, the difference for Iron Man, the difference that Iron Man makes on the team, and the fact that you can get so much more skill cooldown. I'm still not in the leadership slot. Can you please choose Iron Man? Okay, so we're gonna do one more battle. I don't want to finish the video with a loss because that really pissed me off. I'm gonna use Luna Snow this time, and I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like to actually play properly as Luna Snow instead of playing like that guy who basically had no idea how to use a character, and he was just like pressing buttons randomly, and he died like 3 times, which is pretty embarrassing as well. And we're going to hopefully not only get top DPS, but more importantly pull off that win, because that win is really the most important part. And we're gonna try to DPS him down. It's looking pretty good right now, although we had don't die Luna, although we had the Mr. Fantastic situation again with this guy just like, you know, oh, I'm gonna pick Mr. Fantastic, oh hell, LOL. I feel like a lot of people pick Mr. Fantastic just because they don't have him. He's not the most popular tier 3 compared to someone like Luna, so I can, you know, I can kind of understand. I'm not going to be too salty about it, but, you know, I really hope that the information that I'm providing can help people set up better teams and have more luck, especially with random groups. You know, we did sort of the same thing for GBR. When Giant Boss Raid first came out, there's a lot of miscommunication and a lot of misinformation about what to do, what kind of teams to set up. And so I'm hoping that, I might die actually, I'm hoping that, there we go, we won, awesome, we won by a long shot. I'm hoping that by making this video and putting this information out there, you can recognize and identify, you know, what you want your role to be. Do you want the pressure of dealing the most damage and being the DPS? Do you want to be more of a support character? If you're the first slot, are you going to, you know, take one for the team and choose maybe a character that you already have at tier 3 like Iron Man, but a character that puts your team in a much better position to win because you can spam your skills more? In general, of course, for this team, I mean, even though I lost that Wolverine team, I would say Black Panther and Wolverine are probably bad choices. Wolverine, on top of having low damage, because the #1 Wolverine, I believe, is not using an offensive CTP. Like, if he had a CTP of Rage, maybe it would work, but for whatever reason, he doesn't. He's got a CTP of Authority, and so, you know, he would have to have, in order for you to choose Wolverine in this case, he would have to have a very good ability. But his ability is Shield, which doesn't really help your team that much. Again, you're not going to die very much against Strife, and it doesn't do any damage to your boss. It doesn't do anything to the enemy's boss. It doesn't do anything to the enemy's players. So I would say both Black Panther and Wolverine are bad choices. And then between Mr. Fantastic, Luna Snow, Captain Marvel, and Iron Man, it's really a great mix. They're all technically DPS characters. They all have Rage except for Captain Marvel. She has a CTP of Destruction if you check the #1 build. Iron Man is an excellent leader, so that's obviously a great pick for him for this week. Mr. Fantastic is just a great overall DPS. He can do a ton of damage with his tier 3 skill with the CTP of Rage. Luna Snow is pure DPS. And then Captain Marvel can be a mixture of leadership if you want to go like full DPS, Captain Marvel lead, Iron Man, Luna Snow. But she also has a good support role because you can go around collecting the energy capsules and healing the enemy's boss. And I actually had a win where my Captain Marvel, I was Mr. Fantastic and I dealt almost 60 million damage, and my Captain Marvel teammate collected enough energy to do the exclusive skill, the heal skill, the regenerate skill 7 times. And that was the reason why we won at the last second. It was a super nail-biter win. And so you have these magical moments that are capable and that are able to happen when your teammates sort of work together and synergize and know their roles. So I think knowing your role, knowing the builds going into it by checking the #1 builds, and understanding the skill cooldown and who should choose what character if they're the first person, because that leadership will cascade to the whole team, will make you have a lot more fun and, most importantly, a lot more success in Danger Room. So hopefully you guys pulled some nice bios from your chests. Hopefully you guys will all get to Platinum to get the best reward, or to get into like the best reward tier possible to get this elusive lady. And yeah, let me know what you guys think of Danger Room and the guide. Hit me up in the comments down below. Subscribe if you enjoy the content. Join the Discord. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you later today. Take care.